Alright guys, time for part 3. We're going to learn some modifications this time. You ready running guns? Time for blast off. Let's go. Hey guys, Todd here with you. Welcome back to Bassin 101, part 3 of Buzzbaits. Well, like I said, I wanted to break this down into sections. I didn't want to make one gigantic long video because I'd probably lose you. If I do it in snippets, I might keep it fresh in your memory. Modifications. Well, there's really not a lot in modifications that you can do with Buzzbaits, but you can do them. You know, you can take a simple type buzz bait like this old Strike King right here. Before you crimp the rivet, you can bend that wire out, pull the rivet off, take the blade off, sand this wire with some like 220 or 320, just sand it up and down a few times, put it back together, and I would also sand the flat part of that rivet, and I would sand the flat part of this blade right here. I sand that and sand the rivet, so when you crimp the rivet, it'll make a kind of sound. You can do that. I normally just don't fool with it. You know, I do fish these things for a while. They'll do it themselves anyway. But that is, you know, if I build buzz baits, that's what I do. Is every time when I go to build buzz baits, I always sand the wire, sand everything, crimp the thing, and all that. That's one modification you can do. Another. Always throw a trailer hook. I mean, always. Everybody has a different size of trailer hook they like to throw. I keep mine around 1/0. And I have a Gamakatsu, the nickel, and I have some old Eagle Claws, which have the Shaughnessy bend, but they're a little longer. But not a real big bite. I want just a little bit of trailer hook behind there. And what do I hold them on with? Well, if you take a paper punch, I made these, oh gosh, 15, 20 years ago. This is out of like an old 2-liter bottle. And you take a paper punch. I don't know if I can hold these up or not. You take a paper punch and on a block of wood, a little ice pick or something, and a hammer, and you punch a hole in it. And what you do is you slide it over the hook until it snaps over the barb, and that can't come back over there. Trust me, I've been using this for 20 years. You can't. I've never had one fail. Now on a buzz bait, I will take one from like a milk jug or something a little more of a creamier white, because they're a thicker, more pliable. Because once I put one on a buzz bait, I never take it off. So that's why I use that. The reason is I can't break it off with a pair of pliers. When you make them out of 2-liter bottles, that's what's cool about spinner baits, or if you use trailers, you know, like rubber trailers on spinner baits or buzz baits, you could take a pair of pliers and grab a side of that thing, go break it right off, take a trailer hook off, take a trailer, you know, put it up, whatever. Buzz baits, I don't use trailers, so I prefer to use the wider, more flexible type deal on buzz baits. Only on buzz baits. I'll use the clear ones on spinner baits because I want to be able to remove them easily. These you have to use a pair of scissors and work with them, and you know, like I said, that's another time as far as trailers. But trailer hook is all I use on that. The other modification you can do with buzz baits, I do not suggest doing it with a tri-ring, because that you're getting over your head on this one. But on a regular buzz bait, if you want this thing to go faster, you take a pair of pliers and you bend this out just a little bit. If you want to go even slower, this is at a 90-degree angle. Take a pair of pliers and bend it in a little more. That'll slow it down. Don't bend it too far, because what's going to happen is it's not going to operate properly. But it's easier to do 2 blades than 3. Personally, there's no sense in making the 3-blade buzzbait any faster or slower than it already works. That's what these are for. Okay, a two blade deal is best for that. That's really the only modifications I make to a buzzbait, unless I do that wire bending deal. Like I told you, I just take a pair of pliers right in the middle. I bend this down, bend that buzzbait up, and it puts that 45-degree bend like I showed you in that lunker lure. Okay, those are the modifications I do to them, but mainly it's just a trailer hook. I rarely ever modify the blade. I don't think I've done that, gosh, in years. But, you know, buzzbait to me is a big producer. It's definitely a high confidence bait that I have, because I caught a lot of good bass off buzzbaits. So that's my modifications. And that's all I have for it. So we got one more to go, guys, and it'll be trailers. So until next time, may the Father bless you and keep you in Yeshua's name. And as always, fish on.